Unit 4, page 1 homework. Aim. How do body systems help maintain balance? Do now. Recall the levels of organization from earlier this year. You should remember terms like organelle, tissue, organism, organ, body system, or organ system, and see if you put those terms into the graphic organizer on your paper. Remember that the smallest circle should be the smallest structure or the simplest structure, and the largest circle should be either the complex or the largest structure. Okay, if you need more time, you could pause here. Otherwise, I'm going to go over the answer. So cells are the smallest structure. They're the simplest, the cells. Then comes groups of tissues make up organs. Groups of organs make body systems, or sometimes call them organ systems, and then those make up an organ. Particle that's on the atoms, grouped together, then the cell, a tissue, organ, and organ system. Here you can see the circulatory system, and then if you put all this together, you make up a full, or like a human. Class. 2 of them really not on very much, but the other 8 are. Also, sometimes you'll see different words. You stick with a common language so that we'll all use these. They are circulatory, digestive, endocrine, excretory, and skeletal. Muscular and skeletal are really not discussed in too much detail within this course. However, the other 8 that are above are discussed in more detail. The immune system actually will be more 5, so in our next unit of study, a system will be after that. So those 2 systems, you don't have to know too much about at this point, but you should think about all of the systems from circulatory to excretory. So now let's talk from functions of each of these. Remember, that's what their job is. And each of them has a very specific job. The circulatory system transports materials through the body. It takes the highway of the body, which is the bloodstream, and it brings oxygen to all the cells in the body, and also brings out any waste to be removed. The digestive system, you might remember from our study about enzymes, digest means to break down. So we do this when we're eating food, and we want to break down those complex polymers, those macromolecules, like our proteins and our starches, and we want to break them down into our monomers, like our amino acids and our glucose. Respiratory system is for gas exchange. We exchange our oxygen and carbon dioxide, and those are through the lungs mainly, and then it gets into our bloodstream in order to be delivered to all the cells. Because remember, even cells in your toes need to breathe. The nervous system sends and receives messages. Now, these messages very quickly through neurotransmitters, chemicals that are sent through an electrical impulse. And the endocrine system is similar. It regulates the body in some processes like reproduction, growth, development, and it uses chemical messengers. So those are called hormones, and those travel through the blood. So they're a little bit slower. Things like a message that your body would need to grow would be a message that would happen over a longer period of time, whereas your nervous system would do something like jump out of the way because a bus is coming at you. Excretory system is to get rid of waste. This is not solid waste, so a lot of times when we see this, we think solid waste. Excretory actually is waste like sweat or carbon dioxide out of our lungs or urine. The immune system protects the body. That's what fights all of the pathogens or the bacteria that are floating around. The reproductive system makes offspring to continue on the generation. Muscular, of course, is for movement, and skeletal gives us support so we don't just all fall over. All of these systems work together, and one of the most words that we will talk about in this class is the word homeostasis. So all the systems are actually part of maintaining this word homeostasis, balance within an organism. So it's defined by the steady state physiological condition of the body. So think of the word stasis, right? Kind of sounds like stable or steady. Homeostasis is that stability, that organism's kind of calm, normal And if it gets disrupted, that could lead to either disease or even death, depending on what the problem is. Also, some of the systems work together really closely. We'll get into this actually in the second page of notes. So for our summary, what we'll do is we'll see if you can match the picture with the system. So I'll show you different pictures, and I want you just to tell me which system it matches with. On your handout, if you want to use any kind of clues to help you remember, you could go through each system and just write down maybe a word or two that would help you identify that system from an image. So maybe an organ that you'd be looking for, or the overall, structure of it. Okay, so our first picture. This has the heart, arteries and veins, circulatory. We've got the stomach, the liver, the intestines, digestive. Here you've got all the different glands and hormones, endocrine. This one, we've got kidneys, bladder. This is the excretory system. Hopefully everybody got this, the muscular. This is not the skeletal, in case you guessed that. Notice that there's a brain at the top and all the nerves, the nervous system. Next, we've got the nose and the lungs, respiratory. Everybody should get this, the skeletal. Next, we've got male and female organs, and we've got egg and sperm at the bottom. This is a picture of the reproductive system. This is a little bit tougher, but your tonsils and your spleen and your thymus and your bone marrow, this is actually part of your immune system. So hopefully you had a good review, and if you're not sure, you can continue.